Hello, everyone, and welcome to Armstrong in the Loop podcast. I'm your host, Seth Prentice. Today, I'm honored to be joined by Patty Kirkpatrick, Executive Director of Don't Stop Dreamin. Patty, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Patty, some of our listeners might have seen our In the Loop last year spotlighting your Laugh for Love event. We're here to do that again, but I really felt that your organization does so much and many people might not be aware what Don't Stop Dreamin' is. So let's start off learning more about Don't Stop Dreamin'.
Well, Don't Stop Dreamin' is a non-profit. It was incorporated in 2012 as recognized by the IRS. Before that, it was a program started in 2005. We're affiliated with Quality Life Services, which operates 10 nursing personal care homes across western Pennsylvania, as well as a hospice company. And we grant dreams to those residents in the nursing homes and to the patients in hospice.
So you're kind of like a Make-A-Wish, but for adults.
Correct.
That's
Yes.
amazing. I noticed in some of the notes that your team fulfilled 101 dreams in 2019. Is that a record?
That is a record. We set a record in 2019, and our dream is to surpass it in 2020. So we've been growing significantly over the past few years.
That's incredible. Half of those were completed from July to December, which is probably even more amazing just because of everything that's going on during that time of year. You know, family, holidays, and everything else. And your team was able to come together and make these incredible dreams happen.
Yes, we had a very busy summer. As you can imagine, that those that are in long-term care, especially skilled care, that doing an excursion out of the facility, there's a lot more coordination, and we want to try to accomplish those when the weather cooperates. And so our summer was very, very busy.
I want to hear about some of your dreams that you've done this year, but I need to highlight one from September. A 102-year-old U.S. veteran was granted a wish to fly in a hot air balloon. Talk about once in a lifetime. What was this experience like for Russell?
It was phenomenal. Russell was an Air Force veteran, had flown airplanes. He never got to fly in a balloon, and he wanted a completely different experience. And so when that dream was submitted as the application, of course, we're apprehensive because he's 102 and he is in hospice care. And the other part is he's in a wheelchair. So finding a balloon company in Pennsylvania that we could actually take Russell. We had to go to Lancaster in order to fulfill that dream. And I don't know if you know a lot about flying in hot air balloons. I didn't know until we started down this path that you either have to take off at sunrise or sunset. So we had Russell out there in the dark, ready to take off at 6:30 in the morning. So he had to go the night before with his caretakers, and the basket actually opened up with a door to get his wheelchair.
That's incredible. And talk about an experience. He's seen so many things and has so many life experiences, and for this to be his dream, that's just incredible.
It is, and I would ask your listeners to go on to our website, www.don'tstopdreamin.org, because we had a professional videographer to capture Russell's dream. As he was taking off, flying, you'll see there's actually a horse and buggy in the landscape going along because we had a drone and we had GoPro cameras that were there. And then actually when he landed, they had a champagne toast.
That's incredible. And it just brings a smile to my face just hearing all about this. Something that you sent to me was a wonderful email, I believe it is your newsletter, highlighting some of the numerous dreams that you granted last year alone. Some of them include sporting events, concerts, casino trips, but the ones I think that really pulled on my heartstrings were the ones such as family members' weddings, being able to attend, a family member coming from out of state to visit, a 65th wedding anniversary, which is absolutely fantastic, and someone else took a trip to go back to where she worked for many years. I mean, these dreams are not something that we would take thinking of something lavish, but to these people, this is, something once in a lifetime for them, and you're able to help grant that.
Yes, and many of those dreams, that one of the things we try to capture, what's the story behind why they want that to be their dream? And oftentimes those stories are about they're compelled in their heart. Maybe something they've done in the past, maybe something they've never had the opportunity to do. I can tell you the story of the 65th wedding anniversary. The resident actually came into the skilled nursing thinking she was going to be there short term. She would be back home in order to celebrate her anniversary with her husband. That wasn't possible. Oh. So the staff came to us and said, how can we make a special day for this couple, because she thought she was going to be back in her own home. Wow. So, we bring families together. We sponsor those at a restaurant. Oftentimes when we tell the restaurant that we're bringing this resident and a family for some kind of celebration, they're very gracious and they help us and donate for that resident with the food.
And before I forget, if an organization or company would like to help in assisting and making some of these dreams come true, how are they able to do so?
They can contact us. They can call us. They could email us. We have many, many donors that say, I want to help sponsor that dream because it may be something that's near and dear to them. When you look at we've done a number of weddings this year where it was grandparents that wanted to get to their grandchildren's weddings, and considering they're in a wheelchair, specialized transportation has to be arranged. There has to be an appropriate caretaker. When that resident leaves the facility, there has to be a trained caretaker to go along with that resident. That's the reason they're in skilled nursing. And the family can't always make those accommodations. So when you go back and you see those photos of a grandmother with her granddaughter or with a grandson, or even we had one of our residents, his daughter was getting married, and that he needed to walk her down the aisle. And we got him there, and he got to walk her down the aisle.
I'm speechless, and I thank you and everyone that made that possible.
Yeah, and I have to say that, when you go and you talk to the staff, these staff are so close to the residents. They become family. They are with them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And they know their personalities, their likes, their dislikes. They know the family members who come into the facility, and they will do everything possible to make sure they are connected to their family.
Now, one thing that you did keep mentioning was the caretaker. You don't get to go on these dreams, but the caretaker does. How important is that for that person to also get to see the dream fulfilled?
It's very, very important. And often, most of our applications come because of the staff. They know the resident. They know the likes, the dislikes, the aspirations of the resident. So those staff members will submit the application because they've had that conversation with that resident. And then typically that resident wants that staff member to accompany them on a dream. So they are like family. We say we're a family company. It's a family-owned company, Quality Life Services. So what I see in the staff are very compassionate people, very caring people. And that when they get to experience the dream with that resident, they also see the resident in a different light. They see them having these memorable experiences. Just like the caretaker, you'll see her in that hot air balloon with Russell. She'll describe that dream probably for the rest of her life about the impact it had on her because of Russell.
Thank you so much for sharing some of these stories about these dreams, because without that, I don't think people would fully understand what your mission is. But in order to help fulfill these, we have to have fundraisers. And your 5th annual Laugh for Love event is coming up on Saturday, February 15th. And I'd love to learn more about what this event is.
Well, this is our 5th annual, and it's a comedy event. That's the reason it's Laugh for Love. And, of course, the love built in there is that we care for these residents and these patients because we truly do love them. They are unique people, all with their own story to tell. And so this is a fundraiser for us. It's a comedy show. This year it's featuring a female comedian. This is our first time with a female, Tammy Pescatelli. And you were telling me you are aware of her, and you need to tell all the listeners out there about, come to this event to see Tammy. I'm excited to be able to go and see her.
Well, Tammy, I think, is kind of a trendsetter for a time in the early to mid-2000s when female comedians were actually very hard to come by. And Tammy performed on Jay Leno's show multiple times. I know she's had multiple Comedy Central specials. She goes on that edge of just not being raunchy enough to be censored, but she provides enough laughs that I think people that go see the show will truly see you have a big name comedian coming to perform, which is incredible for a local small comedy show.
Well, and that last year we actually had Jimmy Crenn, and people had a wonderful time. And it is at the Doubletree in Cranberry. And the reason that we've gone to that venue is just size alone, just to be able to attract, more people to come and see the show. There is a buffet dinner that we'll have, and I have to tell the listeners there are actually gluten-free items on the menu because, sometimes with people's diet restrictions. So that's part of it. We will have an extensive basket raffle items. We've been working on those. So I know last year everyone just said it was an enjoyable evening, and of course it's close to Valentine's Day, so try to encourage those to bring someone special with them for the night.
And I know you will sell out for this event, so make sure you get your tickets. But also something extra that you've offered is you've blocked off a room of or hotel rooms at the Doubletree, and they're offering a special rate for this as well, correct?
Yes, they are. And the Doubletree's been great to work with. And for those, that then, because they can stay afterwards, they can enjoy the facilities. And for those that are staying, last year we had a lot of people stay overnight. And then they got to just socialize then and meet new people too. And I would ask the listeners, if you are interested in tickets, you can go on our website. There's a link there that buy tickets, and it goes to Ticket Leap. Or else you can just search Ticket Leap, and when you go onto that site, type in Don't Stop Dreamin' or Laugh for Love, and it'll come up.
And we'll actually put the link right in the episode details so that all you have to do is go down, click on it, and you can purchase your tickets. But
great.
For more information, they can also call 724-431-0770, correct?
Correct, yes.
Patty, anything else you'd like to inform our listeners today before we end the show?
Well, I do want to let the listeners know that we've had a capital campaign going on since the end of May. And we launched that at the 11th Frame Bowling Alley Bar and Grill in Butler. And that was to obtain the Track Fab tracked wheelchair. And that's a wheelchair that'll go through snow, through sand, through dirt, through fields, places that you could never imagine. But for those fulfilling dreams who we can't take a regular wheelchair. And that wheelchair will be at our facility on February 7th. We raised enough money through great sponsorships, great donors, and we're actually going to have a ribbon cutting and dedicate that. And then our next goal is to get those residents out with nature.
That's awesome. Well, I look forward to seeing that, and I hope to be in attendance for your ribbon cutting because that's a big need, and I'm hoping that provides more opportunities for your residents and those fulfilling a dream.
Well, thank you very much, and I do want to thank you for this opportunity, so gracious of Armstrong, to understand what we do and try to get that message out to others.
Well, thank you, Patty, for coming on today, and we wish Don't Stop Dreamin' an even bigger success in 2020. For Armstrong in the Loop podcast, I'm Seth Prentice, keeping you in the loop. Are you enjoying Armstrong in the Loop podcast? Great news! All past and current episodes are available on popular streaming apps and websites. Search Armstrong in the Loop podcast and subscribe today.